It's been a very long season for these supporters, but after 10 months and 48 games, Torquay and Colchester are just 90 minutes away from the second division. There'll be ecstasy for one team tonight, agony for the other. It's that time of the year once again. It's playoff final time. Just 2 years ago, Torquay United fans were contemplating life outside the Football League after seeing their side finish bottom of Division 3. But because Vauxhall Conference champion Stevenage's ground wasn't up to standard, the Gulls maintained their league status. And now, here they are at Wembley, just one win away from Division 2. But dreaming the same dream are this lot. Colchester supporters were here last year for the Auto Windscreen Shield final. That ended in defeat, but a win tonight will more than make amends, and the U's are the in-form side. Live from Wembley, it's Colchester United with just 2 defeats in 11 against Torquay United, who prior to the playoff semi-finals had won only once in 8 games. Welcome to the start of one of the most exciting weekends of the season. So much to look forward to over the next few days. England tomorrow, Grimsby and Northampton on Sunday, Charlton and Sunderland on Monday. But tonight, it's all about this, third division playoff trophy and, more importantly, promotion. The Peterborough manager, Barry Fry, is my guest this evening. Good to see you, Barry.
Evening.
Who's your money on?
Well, I think Kevin Hodges has worked miracles in getting Torquay here at all. I mean, you mentioned 2 years ago they was bottom of the league, and but for Stevenage not meeting the Football League's criteria, they'd have been out in the GM Vauxhall Conference. Last year, if they'd have lost one more game, they'd have got relegated instead of Hereford. So in 2 years to turn it round to getting here in the playoff is absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, although he's done marvellous, I think Colchester will be the team going in the second division.
Yes, they appear to be the informed side at the moment.
I mean, Steve Wignall's done brilliant there for years, you know, and 3 years ago they was in the playoff situation and got beat, I think, by Plymouth. Last year they was here in the Auto Windscreen Shield. They beat us in that after coming from 2-0 down. I think after that they lost their next 5 league games, and then they finished just outside the playoffs last year. Otherwise they'd have been in the playoffs this year. I think this time they'll really make sure that they're in the second division.
Well, the journey to Wembley is one of the most exciting a professional player can make. Here are Colchester leaving the Marriott Hotel in Cheshunt, looking very smart in their summer suits and flowers. And there's the Torquay side, who was staying at the Riven Hall Hotel in Whittam. Pretty relaxed atmosphere on board the Colchester bus. Plenty of order being drunk, as you'd expect. It's a pretty warm evening. And there's Rodney Jack, Torquay's main man, with his father, who's flown over from St Vincent for this game. And there's Kevin Hodges, the man Barry Fry was talking about just a moment ago. Their first sight of the Twin Towers. What a moment for both sets of players. They have been here before. Colchester, as I say, contested the Auto Windscreen final last year. Torquay were here in '91 when they beat Blackpool on penalties. And I wonder if we're going to have a similar sort of match tonight. If so, look out for this man, Matthew Gregg, who is the reserve goalkeeper, playing because of suspension to Kenny Vasey, who's Torquay's first choice goalkeeper. So both teams safely here. This is why they're at Wembley, their playoff semi-finals, starting with Colchester, whose opponents were Barnet. The first leg of the semi-final was played at Underhill, and Colchester lost to a single goal, scored by Barnet's Greg Heald. But back at Layer Road, in front of a crowd of nearly 6,000, they levelled matters thanks to an early penalty. Lee Howarth committed the foul. And David Gregory scored from the spot. They soon fell behind again, though. Warren Goodhind heading the Londoners back in front. But David Green was then on hand to level the scoring from close range to force the tie into extra time. And it was Colchester who came out on top, with David Gregory scoring his second of the game. The U's 3-2 aggregate winners. Torquay faced Scarborough in the other semi-final and were fortunate not to fall behind to a penalty. Gareth Williams with that miss after 16 minutes. Top scorer Rodney Jack then broke the deadlock with a powerful run and finish after 22. The Jason Rockets squared the tie at 1-1 late in the first half. John Gittins then chested in from close range to edge Torquay in front, before Andy McFarlane scored his 7th of the season to open up a valuable 2-goal margin with the home leg to come. And that went strictly according to plan as the Gulls got off to a great start. A double strike by Rodney Jack after just 7 minutes put Torquay ahead by 4 clear goals, Jack's 15th and 16th of the season. Scarborough managed to cut the deficit to 3. Jason Rocket again with that header, but any hope of a comeback was short-lived. On 38 minutes, Steve McCall scored the goal of the game. That all but settled the semi-final and booked Torquay's place at Wembley. And Paul Gibbs scored their 4th on the night as Torquay ran out 7-2 aggregate winners. So a welcome return to form by Torquay, but Barry, they came so close to automatic promotion. They slipped from 2nd down to 5th. Last game of the season, they needed just a point at Orient. Psychologically, do you think that will affect them a bit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, normally we come here at the playoffs and the 6 teams here. You know, this year it hasn't happened in all 3, 1st, 2nd and 3rd division. But the times that the last team to sneak in's got up, it's been amazing over the years. But nothing else will matter. The fact that they're here. I mean, Rodney Jack looks very, very quick there. But like you say, they have a terrible run of form and they just missed out on the last game of the season, but they are here. They've reached Wembley, which is a fantastic achievement.
Well, Kevin Hodges has done a marvellous job since taking charge at Plainmoor, and he's now talking to our reporter, Alan Bentley.
I mean, let's be honest, when you took this job on, many people must have thought you were mad. I mean, what's been the secret of your success?
I feel that at the end of last season we got rid of a few players and brought some new faces in, lads that have had first team experience and had a point to prove, and in all fairness, the lads that have come in have done a tremendous job. They've worked extremely hard and obviously we're here tonight because of that.
I mean, hand on heart though, have you been surprised by your progress this season?
I can honestly say at the start of the season I was looking to try and get into the playoffs, and if we'd achieved that then obviously I felt that we'd done something this year, and but having said that, we were in the top 3 right up until the last day of the season, and naturally everybody from Torquay at that particular time were deflated and very disappointed. But in fairness to the players, they've picked themselves up and got themselves to Wembley here this evening, and ideally we want to try and complete the job.
And the bookies are finding it difficult to separate the two sides. How would you separate them?
Well, it's going to be very close. It's on the day who performs best, who settles down the best. Again, I'm just expecting the lads to go out there and enjoy it, and hopefully the football will take care of itself.
I mean, is it truly an occasion you can relish, or is it too much pressure?
No, I've told the players to go out there and enjoy it, because you never may get this opportunity again. So go out there, enjoy it, play your football, and hopefully the result will come for us.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Pleasure.
Exciting night for the Gulls, and there are their loyal supporters with those very colourful wigs. Hot things to wear on nights like this, but they won't be complaining if they're celebrating a victory. Barry, it has been, we've mentioned it already, but a remarkable transformation in less than 2 years. They would have gone out of the league any other year.
Yeah, absolutely, unbelievable. You know, and I mean, Stevenage even took it to court. They felt so aggrieved by it all. So they've survived that and they've come here. So it's a great incentive for everybody that's struggling at the bottom. Just, you know, what's around the corner and what can happen in a year or two's time.
Well, Colchester have been a consistent side for several years now under Steve Wignall, who was in all the shots playoff winning team against Wolves 11 years ago, and he is now talking to Alan Bentley.
Steve, first of all, if reported to be believed, your fans are going to be outnumbered tonight. Does that concern you at all?
No, not at all. I don't think so. If it is, it'll be a small number, I thought. But no, I mean, it's a special occasion for everyone. I think our fans will make the most noise anyway. If they make as much noise as they did in the last Barnet game, that's the loudest I've ever heard at the football club. We'll probably outshout them.
What about the players? I mean, the awful experience last year, losing on penalties here, missing out on promotion by just a whisker last season as well. Has that made them stronger?
Yeah, I think so. They showed tremendous determination over the last few weeks, especially coming back from 1-0 down at Barnet. We did it last year. We were 2-0 down against Peterborough, and the Auto Winskins came back 1-3-0. So there's a lot of character there. I feel they're slightly stronger physically and mentally than last year. It's 5 or 6 have played in that game, so hopefully they'll settle down a bit quicker than the Torquay boys.
You've had this marvellous run, particularly since February. Does that mean you go into this game full of confidence?
Yeah, I think both sides can go with full of confidence. So, I mean, Torquay strolled through their 2 games, if you like, in the playoffs. We had a tougher time of it. So maybe we're a bit more battle-hardened, perhaps.
You've had the edge slightly in the 2 games, but nonetheless it's been tight, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing between the 2 sides at all. Both sides are capable of scoring goals. We probably got the edge, whereas we can probably spread the goals around a little bit. But I think it'll be a very open game.
And are you looking forward to it as a manager?
Yeah, tremendous. It's a tremendous honour to come here twice in 13 months. It's fantastic.
I mean, did you enjoy the first time?
I did thoroughly. Okay, we were disappointed, but it was a cup competition. If you lose tonight, this will be a lot more disappointing, if you like, because there's a chance of going into the second division with Manchester City and Stoke and teams like that.
Well, good luck tonight. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thank you.
He's done well, and those people would vouch for that. But in some ways, Barry, they have been the nearly side, haven't they? Playoffs 2 years ago, 1 point off the playoffs last year, beaten in the Order Windscreen Shield final last year. They won't want that trend to continue tonight, will they?
No, early on in the season they struggled for some reason or other. I mean, we played them at London Road and beat them 3-2. But to be quite honest, for an hour they completely outplayed us. And I thought at that time, along with Notts County, they was one of the best sides in our league by a mile. But they struggled to slowly get up there. But they're in a roll now. They're on a roll. They all believe in each other. He's just brought Neil Gregory in. He had him on a couple of months' loan and bought him permanently just before the transfer deadline. And I think they'll do it. He's got everything going for him at the moment. And you can't argue. He's been consistent over the years. He's another one that's done a tremendous job and he deserves success.
Thanks for the moment, Barry. 7:30 kickoff at Wembley tonight, the first of 4 games in 4 days on the hallowed turf. The prize for tonight's winners, a place in Division 2 next season. The losers will have to start all over again. They've both come so far, but that final step, 2 weeks from now, Wembley Stadium will be swaying to the rhythm of Billy Joel and Elton John as they team up for one of the biggest rock concerts of the year. But tonight, it's the supporters of Colchester and Torquay who will be doing the singing. It's the 3rd Division Play-Off Final, the start of a very busy weekend on Sky Sports. On Sunday, it's the 2nd Division Play-Off Final, Grimsby taking on Northampton, who are hoping to be promoted for the 2nd season running. That's from 2 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. And then on Monday, the big one, Charlton and Sunderland both going for the Premiership, Sky Sports 2 at 2. My guests this evening are Peterborough's Barry Fry and Sam Allardyce of Notts County has just joined us. Notts County, the runaway 3rd Division champions. Now, Sam, Barry is tipping Colchester tonight. Do you go along with that?
Yes, I think I do. I think that Colchester overall are probably the stronger side, and if I've read in the paper that's right that the Torquay young goalkeeper's playing tonight. I think there is one question mark that where Torquay could do it, and that's Ross Jack up front. I think if he is on form with his pace and what he showed against Scarborough, he could cause real problems. So I'd say
I'm
he's
sure,
a danger man.
Sam, that you wouldn't swap automatic promotion for a night like this, but there must be a part of you that would like to be involved down there right now.
Certainly was when I was at Blackpool. I know that when I missed out against Bradford. I'd love to have been there then. And of course, myself, I have never ever played at Wembley in my life before, so I would have found it nice to go there as a manager. But, you know, certainly from my point of view, I'm one of the few managers that really are glad that I'm not there tonight.
Well, we just saw Rodney Jack, who could be the main man for Torquay. Barry, you've managed Birmingham here in the Order Windscreens final. You've played here as an England schoolboy and scored as well, haven't you?
That's right, yeah. Played in front of 93,000. We beat Scotland 5-3. And when I was at Birmingham, we scored the golden goal against Carlisle in front of 78,000. So I've been very lucky.
And what's it like for a manager down there just before you come out?
Fantastic. I don't know what it's like to lose. I haven't experienced that. I've been very lucky on both occasions here, but just the occasion, to be honest, whether you win, lose or draw, must be fantastic for everybody. Big disappointment if you lose, but just the occasion in getting here is marvellous.
Well, here they come. The most famous steps a footballer can tread. Along the tunnel, the brief pause, and then they will emerge into a very pleasant early summer's evening. And although there's maybe only 25,000 inside Wembley tonight, you can be sure the roar will be the loudest these players have ever heard. tense moments for Richard Wilkins and Alex Watson, the two skippers. Watson, the younger brother of Dave Watson, the Everton defender who's here tonight, and Richard Wilkins, who by all accounts has been in outstanding form for Colchester this season. I wonder what's going through their minds. Of course, in a normal cup final, there is the winning and the losing, and that's it. But for the losers tonight, there is, Sam, the double disappointment of knowing, having been so close, you're right back where you started last August.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the past we've seen teams who have missed out in the final struggle the season after. I think Luton this season have won, and even Notts County before I joined them had lost in the playoff finals, and it's been such a disappointment. They've not been to or been able to recover the next season and found themselves in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
and I think Brentford was another one as well, you know, and it really is very difficult for a manager and the players to overcome that disappointment.
Well, they won't be thinking about disappointment and failure at the moment. Only one thing is on the mind of the 22 players and 2 managers, and that is victory and promotion. And here they come. Colchester's 3rd appearance at Wembley. They won the FA Trophy in 1992. They lost on penalties to Carlisle in last year's Auto Windscreen Shield. And now they're aiming for a place in the 2nd division for the first time in 17 years. There go the firecrackers. What a noise. What a moment. It's also Torquay's 3rd visit to the Twin Towers. They lost the 1989 Sherpa Van Trophy final 4-1 to Bolton before beating Blackpool on penalties to secure promotion via the Division 4 playoff final in 1991. And if it's as tight as some people think, well, we could go all the way to penalties again tonight, Barry.
Yep, it all depends. Sam made a good point earlier on about the young goalkeeper, Matthew Gregg. You know, I think he's only 19, he made his debut at 16, but it's a tall order for him to come and play at Wembley in such an important game.
Yes, he's going to be a key man tonight, Sam. We've mentioned Rodney Jack. Who else in the 2 lineups are you going to be particularly looking out for this evening?
Well, I think Dave Gregory, if he's up front for Colchester, who they bought from Ipswich, I think he came with a flourish late on when he joined the club on a permanent basis, and he's got him the goals that has taken him to this playoff final at Wembley. So I think he'll be one to watch, and of course I think Big Saley off set pieces for Colchester will be a danger man again, and I think Colchester's side overall are pretty big and pretty strong, so set plays for them will be important.
Well, we could just see Paul Gibbs with the very distinctive blonde hair. 3 years a Colchester player, now in Torquay colours. There are several members of both sides who've played for the other team over the years, adding extra spice to tonight's encounter. One man I want to talk about is John Gittins, Barry, now very experienced. He played for Swindon against Sunderland in the 1990 Division 2 playoff final. He had his problems at Torquay last season, but he has a wealth of experience, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been very consistent this season, and undoubtedly he's kept them together at the back and done very, very well for them. His experience will be very valuable tonight.
There he is, looking pretty cool and calm.
Like Sam says, they've got Big Saley to deal with, and Neil Gregory, who come from Ipswich. His brother David is the leading goal scorer from midfield.
Well, the guest of honour tonight, who is now being introduced to the 2 teams, is John Sutherland, who is the divisional director for Nationwide, the sponsors, of course, but I suppose at this stage, so close to kick-off, for most players, it's all a blur at the moment. You just want to start
They're just
playing.
shaking hands, that's right, waiting to get on with it.
Brief shake of the hand for the skipper, David Dent, alongside John Sutherland. David Dent from the Football League, of course. And now it's time for the Colchester players to be introduced by Richard Wilkins. I don't know if Mr. Sutherland from the Nationwide is a supporter of either team tonight, but if he is, he'll be keeping that quiet, won't he?
That's why he's got a red tie on, neither side playing red.
He's probably a Peterborough fan, Barry. Most of us are.
Yeah.
We thought for a while that Peterborough might be here tonight. There was never any question of Notts County being here, the way they performed throughout a quite remarkable season. So the prelims have almost been completed. We are approximately 3 minutes away from kick-off. The start of a wonderful weekend here on Sky Sports. Northampton Grimsby Sunday, Charlton Sunderland Monday, England Saudi Arabia tomorrow, But right now, it's Colchester and it's Torquay, and it's time for the national anthem.
Please stand for the national anthem.
Well, Barry and Sam both reckon Colchester are going to triumph tonight. We'll hear more from them at half-time, but it's now time for us to join our commentators, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
And let's have a look at the two teams. And in Colchester's lineup, former Luton player Aaron Skelton, who was left out of the second leg of the semi-final against Barnet for tactical reasons, is back tonight, which left manager Steve Wignall to choose between Steve Forbes and Paul Abrahams as one of his three men up front. He's gambling on Forbes, which means that 6 members of the starting lineup appeared in last year's Auto Windscreen Shield final. Forbes had only just joined from Millwall and wasn't in the 14. Skelton and Neil Gregory weren't with Colchester then. Simon Betts was injured and Paul Buckle suspended at the time.
4-3-3 for Colchester United tonight. Carl Emerson in goal, ever present, good goalkeeper. Right full-back Joe Dunn, David Green, Richard Wilkins captain, and Simon Betts left full-back. In front of Betts, David Gregory, the older of the two Gregory brothers. Paul Buckle right in the midfield, he'll be a happy man, Arsenal supporter. Aaron Skelton right-hand side. Up front, Forbes in front of Skelton, Mark Sale and Neil Gregory.
For the second time, Torquay goalkeeper Ken Vasey can blame Leyton Orient for denying him a Wembley appearance. 9 years ago, an injury against them ruled him out of the Sherpa Van Trophy final. This year, a sending off there on the last day of the league season means that he's suspended. A 19-year-old Matthew Gregg, who started the season as first choice, is dramatically recalled. There's a solid backbone of experience with 6 30-somethings in the team, and although most of the side has performed at Wembley, the 3 who haven't are the youngest, the goalkeeper, and the 2 oldest members of the squad, 35-year-old Gary Clayton and Steve McCall, who's 37.
Yeah, three centre-backs at the back for Torquay United, and as you say, Rob, youngster in goal, Matthew Gregg, what a night for him. In front of Matthew, Jamie Robertson, Gittins, Alex Watson. Doesn't, when you see him later on, looks the double of his brother Dave Watson. The 2 wing-backs, quality wing-backs for me, Andy Gurney with 10 goals, and Paul Gibbs on the left-hand side, also with 10 goals this season. Ledbetter right-hand side, Clayton through the middle, an old teammate of mine, Steve McCall, good left foot, left-hand side of midfield. Up front, Andy McFarlane, big, tall, holds the ball up well, and Quicksilver, Rodney Jack alongside him.
One man with a point to prove perhaps tonight is Paul Gibbs, a former Colchester man lining up for Torquay tonight against his former teammates. In fact, his last appearance for Colchester was here in the Auto Windscreen Shield final that they lost on penalties to Carlisle. But the man who's been stealing the limelight for Torquay this season is this man, Rodney Jack. 16 goals, he's in the PFA third division side for this year, an international with St Vincent, and hoping to make as lightning a start to the final as he did to the second leg of the semi-final when he scored 2 in the opening 7 minutes. Last year he was partnered for a little spell by Neil Gregory, who was on loan at Torquay. He in fact is one of 3 players in the Colchester lineup with playing appearances at Torquay under his belt, Mark Sale and Paul Buckle being the other 2. And the referee is Mike Fletcher from the West Midlands. He's never refereed a game here at Wembley before, but he did run the line in the FA Cup semi-final between Tottenham and Arsenal, the second meeting of those sides here that was settled by a Tony Adams goal. Torquay won the toss. They will be wearing their normal strip. Colchester have changed into all white, and it will be Torquay to get the game underway. And it's not surprising, really, that the bookies can find very little to choose between them. Colchester took 4 points off their opponents in the league games between the sides, but both were very tight. Both finished with the same number of points in the league campaign, and Colchester finished ahead of their opponents only by virtue of the fact that they'd scored 4 goals more. So the playoff final weekend at Wembley is underway. Not the first time that the first of them has been staged on a Friday night. In fact, the last time that Torquay played in a playoff final here, that was on a Friday evening, was settled by penalties, and everyone was here until 11:15 that evening. So I hope you've got nothing planned for later. Challenged by Chris Ledbetter, who played in the first playoff final here at Wembley, and is now getting a warning from Mick Fletcher about that challenge.
Yeah, I must say as well, Rob, it's a beautiful night. It's not too hot here at Wembley, and the pitch again looking immaculate.
It's going to take quite a hammering over the next few days, with England playing here as well as the remaining 3 playoff matches. Shaw skims off towards Mark Sale, who thought then that he was going to get a corner.
It's interesting, both sides. This young goalkeeper's going to have to put up with Neil Gregory. Very, very sharp, scored a few goals for Ipswich. Came to join his brother Dave Gregory. And Mark Sale, big centre forward. Watch for him trying to get on the end of crosses.
Up goes McFarlane. Challenging him with was Wilkins. This is John Gittins.
I was having a chat with a few of the Colchester lads before the game, Rob, and the coach Steve Whitten, and they think if they get the ball down and play the football like they can, they'll be all right tonight. They've got an excellent record against Torquay, last 7 games. Steve Wignall's side, 1-6, drew 1.
And seeking to extend that run tonight, and an early goal wouldn't go amiss. Here's Simon Betts. And no advantage played by the referee. He's pulled it back for the free kick for the initial challenge. Clearly felt that Betts was running himself into a cul-de-sac.
David Green making his way into the box. Green and Sale, they're the targets for Colchester.
Plenty of presence in there. Green, of course, scored in the second leg of the semi-final against Barnet. Towards Sale, and he managed to get up. The flag is up against Neil Gregory.
There's a little goal grabber. If you watch Green, I don't know if you get a chance, watch Green spin right round the back. The ball doesn't reach him, it's Sale that gets there first. 3 Torquay players around him, and Gregory clearly offside.
7 goals since he joined Colchester, Neil Gregory. Played 5 games in total on loan at Torquay alongside Rodney Jack, although neither of them scored in that run. And there's Gregory again. This is Buckle. And challenged by Gurney.
Yeah, Green took a knock there, just challenging Andy McFarlane, who himself's a big, tall, gangling striker. But Green strong here, takes a knock after the ball, towers above him, bang, right in the side of the cheek. Now, yeah, that looks a nasty one. You don't like that at the start of a game, receiving a bit of treatment.
Well, he got up initially, David Green, and then saw the extent of the injury. Player who was part of the Auto Windscreen Shield team, in fact scored one of the penalties in the shootout. Just making sure then that he's not going to need any dental treatment over the remainder of the bank holiday weekend.
Brian Owen just looking after him there. Brian had a look at my face a couple of times in these days at Ipswich Town.
The mirror doesn't even want to look at your face, does it?
He's a big lad, this Andy McFarlane. Tall, holds it up well, and little Rodney Jack tries to get the knockdowns off him.
They actually complement each other quite well, these Torquay strikers. McFarlane big and strong, Jack with lightning pace. Betts with the throw. Here's Jack, who really is fired up for this occasion tonight. Forbes with a flick on.
Young keeper getting an early touch, Matthew Gray. He actually started as #1 choice at the start of the season.
There's Buckle. Good instant ball played forward by Skelton to Forbes. Gibbs, the player, hurrying in, forcing him to overrun it.
Yeah, well, Gibbs loves to get forward, doesn't he? 10 goals, which is fantastic from that position. I think Forbes will be trying to push him back and keep him worried about defending rather than getting the other half.
Goal scoring record, in fact, of the wing-backs is very impressive. 20 between them, 10 for that man Gibbs, 5 of those penalties, and 10 for the man on the other side, Andy Gurney. In fact, the goals spread out pretty well amongst the teams on both sides. Only one player, one outfield player on each team hasn't scored this season. Jamie Robinson for Torquay and Simon Betts of Colchester, who goes for that now with Jack. There's Alex Watson. There's McCall. Green going across with McFarlane and being forced to concede the first corner of the match.
I think that through ball there, Green got over quickly, but I just got a feeling that McFarlane's got the legs on Green. Once he gets going, he's a big lad. Actually, Green's got a good start on him, but look at McFarlane make the ground up here. And that's what Colchester have got to be aware of tonight, the through ball with this pace of McFarlane and Jack against them.
Gibbs with the corner.
Yeah, Watson having a push there at Green. Green's been in the game so much, but Watson there, just a shove in the back, and he's the double of his brother. Even runs like him.
Really is a remarkable resemblance, and he'll be hoping to do what Dave Watson did 3 years ago when he went up to collect the FA Cup. That's not the prize on offer tonight.
Talk about his brother maybe going to Norwich City, but there's a few names been branded about.
Sale. Here's Neil Gregory. This is David Gregory. McCall. McFarlane tried to slip it through to Jack. Well read though by Wilkins. He's a versatile player, can play in midfield, more often is good at the back. He was unhappy about that challenge though from McCall.
Yeah, well, Steve McCall, he might be getting on in years, but he can leave his boot in there, Steve McCall. Snaps in here at Wilkins, and that is clearly high. There's no doubt about it. That's got to be the first yellow of the evening. See Wilkins' face there. He's done well to keep going, Steve McCall. Had his fair share of injuries throughout his career. Carlisle boy can be nasty when he wants to be.
Betts with the free kick. Green is up there again, so too is Sale. Watson climbing to clear. Clayton challenging with David Gregory. There's Gurney who cleared though. There's Wilkins. Gittins, McFarlane had hoped to climb and reach it to release Jack.
Yeah, Jack doesn't stray too far away from McFarlane. Always just looking for the flick-ons.
In slides Clayton. He's really fired up for this game. You saw him trying to psych out the opposition in the tunnel beforehand. In goes Gibbs.
Yeah, a bit fiery early on, but you'd expect that in a Wembley final.
Tussling there with Forbes, who he won't know too well. Forbes only came in at the end of his time at Layer Road. Here's Gurney. Cleared by David Gregory. Sale couldn't get there. This is Joe Dunn. Clayton. Now looking to release Jack. McFarlane is going into the middle. Gurney has come forward too. This could be useful support from the wing-back. Well, did he overplay it there? Gurney had made a tremendous run.
Yeah, he's telling them as well, isn't he? There's no doubt about it. If Jack's going to play at a higher level, you have to get your head up a lot quicker. He's got two options here. Gurney's flying up to help him. McFarlane's a far post. He just overdoes it.
There'll be a lively box of tricks on his game. He was really looking forward to this, his first appearance at Wembley. Here's McCall. Gibbs. And slipped into McFarlane. Now can he turn? Forbes. And Ledbetter is the covering player after Gibbs had gone forward to take the corner. Betts here has a problem though.
Definitely getting lively out there, Rob. There's one heck of a challenge there. Betts and Paul Gibbs. Real full-blooded 50-50. Look at Gibbs go for this. Bang! And it's just a follow-through. Catches Simon Betts. Maybe perhaps winded. Gibbs played at left-back for Colchester last season, partly because Simon Betts was unavailable due to injury. And Betts has had his problems with injuries in his time. Actually tore groin muscle, scoring his last goal, a penalty against Lincoln some 19 months ago. Well, we thought this game was going to be even, Rob, and certainly I thought Colchester started well, but Torquay have a little bit extra pace up front and beginning to trouble them.
Green climbing above McFarlane.
Yeah, Green's really got to be on top of his game with the two live wires up front.
There's Jack. In slides Forbes, and the referee right on the spot to see that. No more than a few yards away.
This is where I think Torquay are dangerous, Rob. You know, up goes Watson. You look at the size of McFarlane. And I know lower down the leagues they do work hard on set pieces.
Gittins it is who takes it.
There's a good in-swinging, right-footed cross. Clayton just whips it in. Not enough on the header. From what, 7 yards?
From a player who has yet to score for Torquay, Jamie Robinson. It's a stand-in joke that his details in a nationwide league book say that he's good at scoring goals from set pieces, and yet he hasn't scored for Torquay yet. But in the meantime, David Green, who has already had one bout of treatment for a facial injury, is again requiring treatment from Brian Owen.
Yeah, that's not Brian Owen, he just wants to be on the telly. He said, any chance you get, go down. Now Green's certainly been in the wars early on in this match. And just, I think Kevin Hodges, after maybe a few minutes early on when Colchester were taking the game, will be much more happier.
Well, Kevin Hodges took over Torquay after they'd finished bottom of the league. Started the revival last season when they were in the top 6 by November, but again they finished in the bottom 4 after a dramatic collapse. This year, though, they've managed to sustain it fairly well, although I'm sure many of their supporters would have hoped that they didn't need the playoffs. They looked certainties at one stage for automatic promotion. There's Robinson. There's Green. There's Watson. Green seen plenty of the ball. Paul Buckle was just caught there.
And Colchester at the moment are just having a job getting out of their own half. Torquay are very eager to get the ball first and immediately try to hit McFarlane or to the feet of Rodney Jack.
Richard Wilkins with a free kick. Header on was by Sale.
Yeah, Watson missed it. Gregory just made a slip.
Wilkins.
One thing with Neil Gregory, you give him a chance, he'll put the ball away up there for Colchester. Good finisher.
There's Jack. Skillfully guided himself away from Green. He's going to require support. McFarlane is in the middle, but he's won another corner.
I just feel this guy's got so much pace in the attacks. As soon as he gets the ball under control, the attacks. I just feel, Rob, he's got to get his head up a little bit quicker. Maybe one or two of the bigger boys won't take a chance because he doesn't get his head up. If you can only do that, then keep running with the ball. At least he's got an option.
It's going to be third time lucky with a corner. Safe handling though from Emerson. Only having to pick up the pieces at the back. And Forbes here continuing to put the pressure on Chris Ledbetter. McCall climbs with Sale, but was clearly out-jumped by him.
I think the problem Colchester have got, Rob, Sale and Gregory are not close enough. Whereas at the other end, there's 10 yards apart, no more, for McFarlane and Jack.
It was given away by Buckle to McCall. And there's a break on here if Jack can be put through, and he has been.
I think that's a classic example of what I was trying to say there. The minute McFarlane gets it, Jack's alongside him, only 10 yards away. Took the ball a little bit wide, but I think this big fella here must make so many goals for Jack. Just lays it in his path, he's a bit wide, but he's not scared to let go first time.
Rodney Jack has had trials with Newcastle and Sunderland in his time, so one or two clubs at a higher level have been watching him. We're both a little worried to take him with regard to the work permit ruling. Didn't know if he would make the required number of appearances to get that renewed. The only definite offer that Torquay have had for him apparently came from Crewe, and that was rejected.
This time Sale colliding inside the centre circle, knocking the eye. And a few clashes there, aerial clashes. Sale saying to the ref, no, there was no elbow. And Clayton just takes a heavy thump there as he goes down.
And Gary Clayton is another one of these who's got an unlucky Wembley record in the past, in that he's been here with clubs 4 times and never played due to injury or ineligibility. Been with Cambridge, twice with Huddersfield, and then 2 years ago with Plymouth, and didn't take to the field on any occasion. So the last thing he wants is for this experience to end prematurely.
Torquay try to take it quick, but physio not off the pitch. I have to say, I think Torquay looked the strongest side in these early exchanges.
Kick is aimed towards Gittins, who's helped it on to McFarlane.
Oops-a-daisy.
Well, he ended up kicking fresh air. He couldn't have been too far away.
Yeah, Emerson had to keep his eye on that ball there again. Torquay, power, aerial ability causing troubles for Colchester.
Sale. Here's Neil Gregory, Forbes and Sale to his left. Buckle and David Gregory both joining the attack too. Knocked in by Skelton towards Mark Sale. Looking for the run of Betts, who has arrived on the scene now. Testing Greg's handling, and he couldn't get to it.
Yeah, under pressure from Forbes there, but at least the youngster came. Maybe a punch would have been the better idea rather than coming to collect. But under heavy pressure from Forbes, good first-time ball, and maybe a punch may have been the better option.
Just his 27th appearance in the first team for the club, Matthew Gregg, and what a stage on which to make it. David Green's had a troubled start to this game, and as that throw-in was taken, he was being forced to change his shorts, so the throw-in will have to be retaken. The elastic went, apparently. Must be putting too much weight on.
Don't you look at me. You've been giving me a bit of stick lately, Mr. Hawthorne.
All in good humour. Steve McCall, who of course played with Alan Brazil in that UEFA Cup final some 17 years ago. Ball slipped through here, it's McFarlane, he's offside.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is so close, you know. Colchester players got their arms up quick looking at the linesman, but don't believe this. They did not have the situation under control, I don't think. McFarlane, okay, he's drifted 2 yards off. But again, danger signs are there. And it's the partnership of Jack and McFarlane again.
Good enough finish from Andy McFarlane, who's got 7 goals to his credit already this season.
I think Colchester feel if they contain the 2 front players, then eventually the football will overcome Torquay, but at the moment I don't think they're containing them at all.
Well, we wondered what sort of an effect on their morale Torquay's collapse would have. at the end of the league season, but they showed in the playoff semi-finals against Scarborough how quickly they were out of the traps and how quickly they cleared the cobwebs away from the disappointment of missing out on an automatic promotion slot. Sale up with a flick on. This is Forbes, and two players converged, Watson and McCall. Wilkins.
Be interesting if you spectators at home, Stoke City, Man City fans, you're watching this. Do they fancy the trip down to the Riviera? Torquay are going through. That's a fair old hike, I can promise you.
Nice one to make in the summer, but not so sure if it comes out in the fixture list as the middle of November.
Colchester have not settled. They really are expecting them to fizz the ball about, good movement, passing the ball. It's not happening. I think Ledbetter, Clayton, McCall in midfield for Torquay are closing down, stopping them playing.
Colchester, though, do have the upper hand in terms of possession, coming up to the halfway point of the first half. Well, there really is so much at stake that these playoff finals do tend to be so tight. Headed down here towards Forbes, and he looked for the handball there against Gittins, and the referee gives it.
Oh, I think this is hard luck. I really do. I think this is I think it's a heartbreaking decision for Torquay. Watch this. Forbes, I don't think he's any control of this. Look, sticks his toe out, takes a big centre half Gittins in the arm, and this is going wide for a goal kick. Woof. Definitely hit his hand, but was intent. I'm not so sure.
Well,
against the runner play, Rob.
Last year, Colchester lost at Wembley on penalties. Now they have a penalty, which David Gregory will take to try and put them ahead in the playoff final. He withstood the pressure of the semi-final to score from the spot. Can David Gregory do it at Wembley as well? Yes, he can. It's in off the post. Colchester in the lead.
That's a fine penalty, Rob. This hits the inside of the post, I think. A fine penalty. And the talking point, well, was it a pen? Referee thought so, just clips the post. Perfect penalty. Young Matthew Gregg chooses to go left, goes the wrong way, and Colchester, against the run of play in my book, 1 up. And Gregory tucks it away, no problem at all.
It's the second goal from the penalty spot that David Gregory has scored. And he scored it against young goalkeeper Matthew Gregg, who could really do nothing about it, despite the fact that he had saved a penalty against David Gregory's old club Ipswich earlier in the season in the Coca-Cola Cup. But really, the 19-year-old could do nothing about that, although John Gittins will feel that it shouldn't have been given in the first place.
Yeah, I just wonder. I thought he's unlucky. I felt Forbes just managed to get a toe at the ball. Gittins couldn't do a lot about it in my book. Forbes got the toe punt, and I think it hit Gittins rather than he put his hand to the ball.
And Neil Gregory going in. But Matthew Gregg decisive. Gregory squaring up with Gurney.
Mind you, that's what we want, Rob, an early goal. I was just saying when we showed the graphics that Colchester had most possession, I thought Torquay looked more dangerous.
And here goes Gurney, looking to prove that. Challenged off the ball though by Buckle. Here's Sale. Away from Alex Watson. Skelton slipping Forbes through. Colchester suddenly looking dominant after the goal they've scored. They're looking for Sale, the flag's up for offside.
Yeah, referee's going to bring it back as well for the late challenge. The smashing cross from Forbes. There's no doubt about it. Paul Gibbs comes across and gives him, clatters into him. This is good refereeing, this is. Lovely ball up the line. Forbes gets a good 2-yard lead on the wing back, but watches across the ball. Gibbs catches him there. The linesman's flag went immediately up, and referee Fletcher says, OK, you can have your free kick, and you can have a yellow card, son.
Well, there's a lot of anger in the Torquay ranks at the moment, and that perhaps just emphasised by that Gibbs challenge, but it's led to their second yellow card. He's followed Steve McCall into the book.
I think there's a bit of frustration here, because Gibbs, when the penalty was given, he went straight to the referee. He was disgusted. You can see in his face.
And Colchester then press home their current dominance. Wilkins is in the thick of it, so too with Sale, cleared by Watson.
And Sale's beginning to become a handful now, Rob, in the air. When Colchester get it wide, they clip it in first time, knowing the big fella's peeling away at the far post.
6 feet 5 inches tall, Mark Sale.
I think Watson's just got to say, right, leave him to me, I'll go and mark him. Sometimes, Rob, you know, the old Colchester and Ipswich Town, McCall's ex-club, there's sometimes not a lot of love lost, but since the two Gregory brothers have gone to Colchester, they've been accepted well. And Steve Wignall doesn't care about that rivalry. If he thinks you're good enough, you play for my team.
Well, they've been gradually making progress up the ladder. Colchester, they were in the semi-finals of the playoffs 2 years ago. They were at Wembley last year, and as Forbes here is flagged offside, they're wondering now if they can clear the final hurdle, winning the playoff final at Wembley.
This fella's beginning to push, just caught offside, but he's beginning to push Gibbs back now. Gibbs, who loves to get forward, half a yard offside.
Torquay then needing a prompt response. Foot was high there on the call, but possession with Torquay, so it continues with Clayton. He's been put under good pressure here from Buckle, and Sale is up in support, and so too is Neil Gregory. Buckle wants it back, but it's given instead to Skelton. He's looking for the power of Sale.
Yeah, once again, Rob, when it's wide, clipped in towards the far post, the big fella fits Sale.
Jack here, testing the legs of Wilkins.
Superb play from Wilkins. Showing his experience, a little bit of kick off the ball there. Jack's getting a bit frustrated, but the captain of Colchester there clearly kept his eye on the ball. And this is not doing Torquay any good. Torquay, I thought, were dominant early on. Now, absolutely shell-shocked for that penalty decision. Beginning to lose the rag. But watch this, Wilkins, superb. Knows he's not got the pace, bides his time, and that's smashing. And here's a little bit of hoo-ha just there. Unhappy with the late challenge. But top play from Wilkins.
But Jack booked for his reactions, becoming the third Torquay player to be shown a yellow card, and although it ends with a handshake for Richard Wilkins, these cards could be costly later in the game.
Yeah, they've got to calm down now. Get the ball up to the two front players again. There's too many players losing their head out there on the Devon side.
Kevin Hodges hoping that his side can just cool it a little. Take the heat out of a situation threatening to boil over. Gurney with the throw. There's Gittins. The call was Clayton.
Green and Wilkins, I think, are doing well back there for Colchester now. Beginning to win the 50-50s, the headers. They're getting there first.
Green. Overhead for Steve Forbes. Colchester seeking their 5th promotion within the league, but although we've mentioned Torquay finishing bottom and not being replaced by Stevenage, whose ground wasn't up to scratch. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when Colchester were relegated out of the league. And danger here with Jack looking for support and finding it with Gurney.
Torquay beginning to get forward now. Gurney's not happy. Someone's just said to me, hit the target. But I tell you who does well here, Simon Betts, because he goes to ground. Watch this. As Gurney, it was just before that. Gurney gets a touch on it, tries a blast. His teammates were quick to have a go at him. That's not going to trouble Carl Emerson.
Well, Andy Gurney, 1 or 2 of the goals that he has scored this season have been quite spectacular. And this would be just a stage for a rip-roaring goal. And certainly much needed at the moment for Torquay. Free kick given away by Sale.
He doesn't agree with you, Rob, shaking his head there.
Gittins, who certainly disagreed with the penalty verdict, flicked on there by McFarlane.
Oof, there was a challenge off the ball there as well. Gibbs rattling into Joe Dunn there. Luckily, referee Fletcher was looking away.
Ruffling the feathers of 1 or 2 of his former teammates, isn't he, Gibbs? Gurney. McCall. Here's Clayton. He's gone for it.
Yeah, on the weaker foot, on his left foot. You see the way he was setting up for it. All of a sudden, Torquay now begin to push the wing backs forward again. Gurney on the right, Gibbs on the left. And there you go. Colchester's 1 attempt at goal. Penalty kick gives them the lead.
That's the significant one.
Was it a penalty? I'm sure Mr. Fry. Mr. Allardyce will talk it over at half-time for us.
The push in the back by Watson on Sale. The last 2 finals in this division have been settled by a single goal, with wins for Plymouth and Northampton. Is 1 goal going to be enough, or can Colchester add to it? There's Buckle. Ledbetter. This is Gibbs. Challenged by Forbes. Robinson. Green.
And that knock in the side of the face for Green there. It's all forgotten now. He's side leading 1-0.
Jack. Busy weekend for Wembley, and a reminder that on Sky Sports 2 tomorrow at 2 o'clock it's England against Saudi Arabia, as Glenn Hoddleside's World Cup preparations really begin in earnest. A whole match live. Gregory. Gibbs, who's to take the throw in, actually making his 3rd appearance at Wembley in 4 years, because before his appearance here with Colchester he played for Diss Town and actually scored from the penalty spot in their FA Vase win. At the moment, Torquay trailing to a penalty. Neil Gregory and Forbes yet again squeezed offside.
Forbes have got the pace of the 3 front players for Colchester United. And Sale and Gregory this time just try to feed it in behind the wing back Paul Gibbs. Certainly offside.
McCall. Jack left it, McFarlane hoped to get there, but Green was there as an insurance policy for the goalkeeper.
And suddenly the quality service has dried up, gone up to the 2 front players of Jack and McFarlane.
Green. Here's Wilkins. Turned out by Gittins, who gave away the penalty. But what a controversial award this was.
There's no doubt about it. Gittins' clearance, sorry, Forbes just gets a toe to it. It hits Gittins in the right arm. But I think that's kicked straight at him. Steve Wicknell didn't think so. And David Gregory tucks it away lovely. Thank you very much. And the Colchester fans, not far, 100 miles, well, 80 miles from Colchester up here. Oh, get in.
Here's Dunn. And a great opening here if Neil Gregory can turn, and he has!
A good chance here for Gregory, maybe claiming it took a deflection. Great awareness here from Neil Gregory. He knows the defender's coming over. Watch how he spins him. Just there. That's class. And that certainly for me was deflected over for a corner. But a beautiful turn from Gregory. Great awareness there. Leaves Gittins dead. And that's only a whisker over the top. Is this deflected? On the left peg, just... Wow. Not far away at all.
Well, it was a deflection perhaps that Gurney wouldn't want to take credit for. Here's Gibbs. Sale. Gibbs adjudged to have touched it, and it's a Colchester throw.
It's a lovely spin. And Colchester now beginning to find the front players.
Jack. Well, referee very unhappy about that challenge, and Torquay have been unhappy about one or two that have gone in on Rodney Jack. Paul Buckle is in trouble.
Jack just coming deep there to try, you know, he's been starved of the ball the last 10 minutes. And Betts just goes through from behind with the studs, and I'm afraid with the rules now, that's got to be a yellow card.
Well, Buckle came to try and talk the referee out of the yellow card, but he wasn't to be dissuaded.
I think it was because the studs went right down this fella's back of the leg from behind.
Cleared by Green, that's Clayton. McCall. Jack.
Colchester up for it now. I thought they'd a quiet start and they begin to find the front players. And this fella here, that was a beautiful spin earlier, Neil Gregory, and I think he's got all the class about him. He's got a good touch. He hits it back the net. I think some people, Rob, feel they can't play hard because of lack of pace. But when you've got a good footballing brain, you make up for that. This fella certainly has got pace.
He's won Torquay most of the corners that they've been awarded, including this latest one. All so far taken by Paul Gibbs. Robinson keeping a close eye on the goalkeeper.
Good header from Wilkins there. Gittins was right behind them.
And knocked out by Dunn for the throw. Clayton. Here's Jack. Chris Ledbetter. Gurney. Gittins has stayed in the attack. He, more than most, will want to redeem the situation from that earlier goal.
Yeah, it was a good header again from Green, though. David Green, he hasn't missed much back there, the number 5 for Colchester. That's his job. When the ball comes in, the danger area in the air, he gets there first.
Highly rated in his days at Luton, David Green, and certainly as an Irish under-21 international made his mark. In fact, the most capped Irish player at that level. Betts. Up goes Sale, Forbes is in the box. Watson's there to meet it though.
Once again, good boy from Colchester, ball wide. Diagonal ball to the big fella Sale. And early on they weren't getting anyone alongside him, now they're getting players, runners off the big fella.
Buckle. Here's Dunn. Sale is the target with Neil Gregory just behind. Is he going to fall here for David Gregory? Having to try and shrug off McCall. This is Betts. Sale got there. Neil Gregory stole in front of his man.
Well, since the goal, Colchester certainly are dominating. thought Torquay looked livelier, then came the penalty, and now Colchester are sharper.
Buckle. Challenges by Gittins. Gurney. McFarlane. Here's Clayton. Jack. There's a late challenge by Wilkins, and this one is going to get him into trouble.
A late challenge and a silly challenge. No, as soon as the little fella came short, got his first touch, he was always going to spin, and Wilkins is a miles away from the ball. It's a shame because he's on the real quality game. Now he has to be careful. There's been a few bookings, Rob.
Wilkins becoming the 5th.
And Clayton can put this in. McCall always left foot. Well, Gurney's there maybe to drill one in.
And Gibbs is just to the left of them, but it's left for McCall. They've worked it to Gurney. Turn behind for the corner.
Yeah, little Betts getting in the way, but a lovely move from Torquay. Betts reading it well. That was dangerous. Well worked. Gurney all alone. McCall spots it. The weighted pass is perfect. And good defending from Betts.
Gibbs with the corner. Cleared by Sale, who was back there covering the big man McFarlane. McCall. Again, Sale stays back. This is Rodney Jack. That's going with him, but he's got it in this time.
Emerson just holding on to it, calm down.
Forbes.
He's definitely causing a few problems down this right-hand side, Forbes.
Held in by Dunn.
The Sale was a sandwich there. Felt there was a push there from Jamie Robinson, and I think there was. Watch this sandwich. Watch Robinson come in from behind. It's got to be a push. Maybe he's decided Sale's just winning too many headers.
David Green, who really has been as solid as a rock.
I'm sure Kevin Hodges half-time tonight, guys, we started so well. Okay, the penalty's gone, whether it was or it wasn't. Let's get the ball to the front players with a bit of quality. But as this fella, Steve Hignall, must be absolutely delighted. He won't care whether it was an iffy penalty. His side are playing the better.
And their performance has improved still further since they made that breakthrough with a goal. Sometimes teams are vulnerable after scoring, but since David Gregory got the goal from the spot, they have picked up. Neil Gregory was coming back there, holding his face.
David Gregory there, the lovely pass on for Forbes. You know, he delayed it too long, Rob. Certainly the service from Torquay to the front players has gone way off.
Gittins. Jack coming deep looking for it this time.
That's why, Rob, because he's not getting it up there alongside McFarlane.
Gurney this time has gone into the box with McFarlane, and Ledbetter was there too. Spinning off his head. Chris Ledbetter has been in 2 Wembley playoff finals before, and in the 64th minute of each he's taken a corner that's led to a goal. One for Dion Dublin of Cambridge and one for Ronnie Morget of Plymouth. So maybe he's waiting his opportunity till the second half.
Where do you get these stats from?
He told me. There will be a minute of injury time to add on at the end of the first half. Well, they were unlucky there. Forbes just offside.
Yeah, he's saying, oh, he realised how tight and close it was. I thought Gregory was going to let fly with a volley. Well, our two guests in the studio fancy Colchester, and they're going to be right at half-time.
Well, they've had a rethink, and there's going to be 2 minutes of stoppage time now in the first half. There are 1 or 2 delays for treatment of this man, David Green. McCall.
That's a silly foul to give away, Rob. Right on the stroke of half-time from Simon Betts. And really, there's no need for that. All of a sudden, someone like Gibb can put a dangerous ball into the box.
Well, Watson has gone forward. Green is marshalling him closely. Robinson has gone forward from the back two. The question is, can Gibbs pick any of them out? Gone right to the back to Gittins, and right across, Watson shot, and then Gittins blasts it over the top.
Well, I think Watson hits the ball against his other defender, Robinson here, Rob. What a beautiful ball. This should have been the equaliser. Watch this, look at Robinson. Does it hit him from Watson's shot, and Gittins blasts over. He won't want to remember this first half for a while. Gittins looked from 2 yards out. Oh dear. And I tell you what, I wouldn't have let him in, young Simon Betts at half-time. Had an equaliser gone in there, giving away that free kick. Yeah, it's not been a half. And I tell you what, you enjoy your teammate at half-time, because you're going to get it over you a few minutes ago.
Yes, what a costly concession of a free kick that could have been, but Colchester goal leading a bit of a charmed life there. And the Essex supporters begging the referee to blow the half-time whistle. Here's Jack. Now, can they strike at just the right time with an equaliser? McFarlane trying to work his way past Dunn, who conceded the throw. There might be a last chance yet.
Was that 22 minutes of overtime? I can't believe it.
They've won another throw-in. McCall to take, and he's not going to get the opportunity to do so. A very forgettable first half for John Gittins, and so far for Torquay United, referee Mike Fletcher awarding the penalty kick against him. He did clearly handle it. The question is, though, should it have been a penalty? It was an awkward bounce after Forbes. Steve Wignall was convinced, so was the referee, despite the protests. And David Gregory was very cool from the spot to become the first Colchester player this season to go into double figures in scoring terms. His 10th of the season sparked off celebrations amongst everyone except Steve Wignall, who knows that there's still plenty of work to do in the second half, particularly as Gittins went close at the end. But at half-time, 1-0 to Colchester.
It's been an interesting first 45 minutes. Those Torquay supporters won't be very happy, in particular with the penalty decision that led to that one goal, which the match facts will eventually reveal to us. Hopefully. Or perhaps not. 1 or 2 problems with the computer, but it is near the end of the season. We can confirm, though, that Colchester lead Torquay by 1-0. Barry Fry and Sam Allardyce are my guests tonight, and I think you're both in universal agreement that that wasn't a penalty, Sam.
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think he went for the ball with his foot up. His arm came up with that. The ball was struck. It hit him on the arm, and of course I thought the ball was going absolutely nowhere. It wasn't going towards goal or anything like that. And I think the referee was in a good position to see that it wasn't really an intentional handball situation. And you know, as you can see, the ball's going nowhere. And for me, it's a very harsh decision.
Barry?
Well, there was no intent. It was handball, but there was no intent, and you always need a little bit of luck, and that's Colchester's bit of luck. I mean, if the referee felt it was a clear handball, why didn't he book him? Why didn't he even send him off? As Sam says, the ball was going nowhere near goal, it was going across the goal. Very harsh decision, but you need that little bit of luck sometimes. up until then I thought Torquay had the best of it.
Yeah, it really knocked the stuffing out of their sails a little bit, Sam.
Well, they
didn't it?
got upset and they had a go at the referee and everybody else, and they flew in a few tackles, and then a few people's name got taken.
Yeah, and perhaps a little bit of luck with the penalty itself, because it wasn't the best struck of penalties, to be honest, Sam, was it?
No, I thought he mishit it slightly. I think it come off the inside of his heel, and he didn't get much pace on it. And I thought I don't think he meant to be that accurate with it. As you see here, he's on the side foot it. It comes off the inside of his heel, and fortunate for him, it's come off the post and gone in the net. But it doesn't matter how they go in, as long as they go in, obviously, and particularly at Wembley. And it's amazing how much a decision like that changes a game, Marcus, because as you can see, Torquay looked the better side, they looked the more comfortable and more relaxed. Something like that goes against them, like Barry says, they start flying in, getting booked, things like that, and then Colchester come back into the game and look the more dangerous.
What about the young goalkeeper there? Great, not much he could do coming into the side tonight.
Well, really, I don't think he's had a shot to save. He come for one cross and made a little bit of a meal of it, but the first time he's really got hold of the ball, he's picked it out the back of the net, and I thought he sold himself a little bit. He went too early, but you know, he wouldn't have been able to stop that anyway, because hit the inside of the post. You can't get much nearer than that, can you?
5 bookings in the first half as well. 3 of them from Torquay. As you say, Sam, they have slightly lost their heads, and that's what Kevin Hodges is going to have to deal with down there at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, I think Kevin, the first thing he's going to say to those lads that have got booked now, make sure you stay on your feet and nothing silly, no matter what, because they can ill afford to go down to 10 men. Particularly against Colchester, who are very, very solid in defence. I mean, I found that at Notts County that we couldn't score against them, and it was very few games we didn't score in last season. I think it was only 3, once against Barry and twice against Colchester. So they're a strong, solid outfit, and really, if they're going to break them down, they're going to have to get more into Jack, I think, because he's been very, very ineffective throughout this half.
Well, it could have been 2-0. Neil Gregory had a chance, beautiful little spin off his defender, and then a shot which we thought definitely got a deflection, but that's lovely strike play, Barry.
Yeah, I had Neil Gregory for a month's loan, and I mean, he is a good centre forward. He holds it up well, he turns, and that is a good strike that definitely got a deflection and should have been a corner, and he had a little bit of a go at the ref for that, and I thought he might have been booked because the referee called him over. But again, it wasn't on target, but it weren't far off. But getting back to your point with Sam, that, you know, Colchester don't concede many goals. I mean, Torquay's got to have a shot on target for him to concede here, which makes it even more difficult.
They did have one chance, Torquay, just before half-time. Free kick from Paul Gibbs, which comes to Watson. He maybe almost hit his own man there. And then John Gittins, who gave away the penalty, had the chance to make amends. But difficult angle, Sam.
Yes, I thought that was the easier chance, and you need a bit of luck. Like Colchester had a little bit of luck with the penalty. Torquay didn't get any luck there at all, and I thought that when Gittins got that chance, initially when we first saw it, it looked very, very easy to put it in the net. But when we see it on the action replay, there's 2 bodies in front of him on a very, very tight angle, but he still should have hit the target.
Half-time then, the favourites are leading by 1-0, but Torquay obviously haven't given up. Not much luck for them in the first 45 minutes, but those supporters don't want to go back to the Riviera having witnessed a defeat. At the moment though, we've had 5 bookings, we've had 1 goal from the penalty spot, it went to Colchester, and that's why the U's lead at half-time. England are in action tomorrow. They play Saudi Arabia, and the heat is on for the final places in Glenn Hoddle's World Cup squad. It's tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. Right now here on Sky Sports 2, we're concentrating on the 3rd Division Play-Off Final. It's Colchester and Torquay. It's Colchester who are 1-up at the break. We can get the thoughts of the Torquay manager, Kevin Hodges. He's with Alan Bentley.
Kevin, obviously the decisive and controversial instance in the first half was the penalty. I think we can show it to you now. What was your initial reaction?
To be fair, it's too far away. You know, there's lots of bodies, lots of arms and legs flying around, and I couldn't really see any handball, to be honest. A little bit disappointed, and I think you ball to hand, whatever. I don't think it was deliberate. But having said that, it's gone against us. Now we've got to try and get ourselves back in this game. You know, I think we've created enough chances to do that. Now we've got to up the tempo a little bit more than what we have done, and hopefully we'll get a break.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
From Kevin Hodges, let's rejoin our commentators, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
Colchester then 45 minutes away from 2nd Division football next season. They're trying to do it on the big stage at Wembley. They'll be going to some pretty big stages next season if they manage it, with Manchester City now in that division and the likes of Stoke at their recently moved to stadium. Reading will have a new stadium too. And there'll be some very high-profile fixtures to come with teams like Fulham and Burnley around as well. So the prize at the end of this game is a big one. And Torquay need the equaliser to maintain the momentum that they found in the semi-finals of the playoffs. Meanwhile, it's a scorer in the semi-finals of the playoffs for Colchester, David Gregory, who's got the only goal so far from the spot. But this is Clayton. Jack. McFarlane is just waiting in the box, and Ledbetter has gone in there too. That was aimed towards him, but David Gregory got in the way.
Yeah, Jack's doing a lot. He's work now, Rob, out wide on the flanks rather than through the middle with McFarlane. I'd much rather see him in there with him, playing off him.
Big Andy McFarlane, who once scored 4 goals against Torquay in an 8-1 win for Scunthorpe. And that precipitated a lot of changes. Was Don O'Riordan's final game in charge. And after the interim Eddie May reign, Kevin Hodges came in and took over. But it was at the start of this decade when Colchester were relegated from the league, spent 2 years in the GM Vauxhall Conference. Richard Wilkins in their lineup, a survivor from those days. Neil Gregory here looking to latch on to the ball from Betts, but he's offside.
Yeah, I think Linesman was dead right there. Good run from Gregory. You see clearly. Try to come back onside, but the time he spins round, well, it's not as blatant as maybe I thought, but I think the referee's assistant was correct.
Well, it's Neil Gregory's brother David who's got the goal from the penalty spot.
Well, I have to say, I didn't see a lot wrong with the. I didn't think it was a penalty in the first place, but the actual spot kick. When you send the goalkeeper the wrong way and you tuck it inside the post, I think that's a good strike.
McFarlane. This is Wilkins. Joe Dunn. And cleared by Jamie Robinson. There was a slight doubt for this game. He had a niggling groin problem all week, which affected his training schedule. Betts. Good work from him, and a good shot too! It went right under the goalkeeper, but fortunately for him, he got enough on it to divert it behind for the corner.
Well, Betts comes inside in the right foot. He's only one thing in his mind here. I'm going to hit this. Matthew Gregg's lucky. It goes through him, it goes to the side. Forbes would have just tapped it in. Good strike from Betts. The youngster thinks he's got it. Oh, and that's a bit of good fortune. Good strike. Bit of swerve in the ball. Look at Forbes just hovering there to tap it in.
Young goalkeeper still learning his trade, Matthew Gregg. And Buckle with the corner. And the goalkeeper was fouled.
Oh, he was very fortunate there, Rob, wasn't he? Still, it's a daunting occasion coming to Wembley, still only 19. And really, he didn't have a lot to do first half, did he? Chose the wrong way in the penalty, and almost a disastrous start to the second half for him.
It's his first match since January in the first team, since he played in a 1-0 win over Hartlepool. And Ken Vasey had been sent off prior to that in an auto windscreen shield game against Northampton. There's a problem here for Gary Clayton. Just got a wound to the eyebrow. Clayton actually was at Cambridge when they were the team who relegated Colchester from the league. He didn't play in that game, but his colleague today, Chris Ledbetter, did. Kevin Hodges here pondering on his options.
Yeah, he'd be looking for the same sort of start they had first half, but keep it going. Really, I think the penalty decision changed the game in the first half. Torquay were much livelier in the opener, but then Colchester, once they got the tails up, I thought they were in control, passing the ball well and getting the ball to the big boy Sale. But Clayton back in the match.
Clayton at 35, one of the senior members of a Torquay side whose average age is almost 29. Colchester of all sides won't pour scorn on that. Remember the great Grandad's Army team in the 70s that won that famous cup tie against Leeds when 7 of those were 30 and over. Here's Forbes. Good work from him in getting away from Gibbs. And good opportunities here. Great work from Forbes. And in the end, Watson was the player who had to come back and sort it out after some great trickery.
Well, he caused great problems first half for me down the right-hand side. And Alex Watson got back well there because Forbes was just slicing his way through. Watch the way he moves it from foot to foot. Excellent. Just goes past Gittins here. And back comes Watson. Good defending.
What a run. The 2 corners that they've had have been in this second half for Colchester. And this one goes towards Sale. Greg has come for this and doesn't claim. Watson behind him has to get it away.
Well, there's no doubt about it. If Torquay for me, Rob, are going to get back in this game. Watson, great defending there. But this fella, Mark Sale, for Colchester, is not missing a thing in the aerial battles. They have to get 2 around them, 1 in front and 1 behind. He's winning too many easy balls for me.
This time it's Buckle's corner. Greg punches. Skelton. Well, he has a penchant for scoring spectacular goals, this man.
Yeah, didn't really catch it, did he? Drove it into the ground. In a nice central position as well, on the right foot, as the ball gets punched from the young keeper right to him. He must have been dreaming of bursting the net. Not this time.
Well, he scored 7 this season as Aaron Skelton, and they reckon that only 1 of them was from less than 20 yards.
That's the Colchester fans from Essex making all the noise now. It's a long trip from Torquay. It's going to be a lot longer on the way home. The score says this way.
Gibbs. There's Robinson. Buckle. Here's McFarlane. Jack trying to weave his magic, but he's really been unable to do that in this game.
There's no doubt about it. Kevin Hodges has said to Rodney Jack, OK, it's not working through the middle. Get yourself in wide positions and use your pace. But I don't think that's working either. Joe Dunn with a bad throw there, getting penalised.
Jack taking it too far.
I just feel this fella, Rob, alongside McFarlane. The first 15 minutes was excellent. Working together, 10 yards apart, getting the knockdowns. And the moment the big fella's through the middle in his own, trying, you know, hoping that Rodney Jack's going to whip past 2 people and get the crosses in from him.
Jack had scored 4 goals in 4 games coming into this match. And Forbes here has been set away by Neil Gregory, but Matthew Gregg quickly off his line.
Yeah, good goalkeeping, made his mind up, I'm coming for it.
McFarlane. Jack. Here's McCall. Better stuff this from Torquay. Gurney. Beyond Clayton, and too short for McFarlane. Foul against Andy McFarlane.
No, I think he sort of backed into Dunn there. No complaints with that decision. The Torquay suddenly they threw about 4 or 5 players forward there very quickly. And they realised they've got to get back in this game quick.
Gibbs. McFarlane. Ledbetter trying to spread it to Gurney. It's Jack pulling wide. Gurney has now gone into the box. Patient build-up. This is Ledbetter. Cleared only to Jack. 3 in the box for him to his left. He plays for the corner off Dunn and gets it.
Well, it's not bad. He's got his side a corner, but all he had to do was just knock it back 10 yards. And Steve McCall would deliver with his left foot. I think he just sometimes gets his head down. Rodney Jack, there's no doubt in ability, and his pace, he's exciting. He must get his head up.
Gibbs to take the corner. Well, Watson was making a powerful case to get there, but it was Green who came through strongest. Gibbs. McFarlane. Well, he'd been outnumbered, but he almost got through. Forced Sale to concede the corner.
I think this big fella's done well for Torquay up front. It's a big old lump, holds it up well, got a bit of nice touch on him. Strength. Good start in the second half from Torquay.
And they build on this solid start and get the equaliser they're craving. Gittins going for it, and the goalkeeper got stuck in a queue as Clayton hits it back in. Dunn clears. It's haphazard stuff though from Colchester. Chaos then inside the penalty area, but again their goal led a charmed life. Dunn grateful now to relieve the pressure. For a moment there, they were really struggling.
I tell you what, it's certainly not John Gittins' night, is he? He's desperate to make amends. Watch him attack this. But so does Carl Emerson, flattens him. And that's a heavy fall. And here's another one, Emerson. The body's flying all over, the ball bouncing about, bobbling about, and eventually Colchester get it clear.
From that scene of chaos, they emerge unscathed, and Sale goes for it. Greg punch clear.
That was a brave punch from the youngster there. There was bodies in front of him, end-to-end stuff. Matthew Gregg took a knock. They watch him come for this and get it. There's no way he can catch this. 2 bodies in front of him, and that's a good punch from the kid.
Well, he's obviously been badly winded by it, young Matthew Gregg. Player who's come through the ranks as a trainee. They've been used to losing their goalkeeper this season. They've had Ken Vasey sent off on a couple of occasions, so although they don't have a goalkeeper on the bench, they do have players who they know are capable of going in there. Kevin Hodges stuck Andy Gurney in on the last day of the season against Leyton Orient, but Wayne Thomas, who's also on the bench, is capable of filling in. Should be all right though.
Of all the players coming out of the tunnel to start the game, this fella must have had some nerves. Comes to that when too many bodies in front of him. A bit of a let-off. You need a bit of luck at Wembley, and the kid gets it there. Good left-handed punch. Comes again. He's not scared to come, this youngster, is he? Right to the far post, and I think that's a good punch. Okay, it falls to a Colchester player, but at least he makes his mind up and comes to them. And once again,
well, he hasn't been too shy in coming out of his goal, but he stayed back that time, let Gibbs do the work for him. Here's Buckle, and suddenly there's an opening for David Gregory, and Gibbs came back with a challenge, and the referee may have been unsighted there, but he's indicated that he got the ball.
Well, David Gregory, we'll see it in a minute, just delayed it too long. Paul Gibbs managed to get back. We'll see that in a sec. And what a let-off, really, for Torquay. That one goes in, they're dead and buried.
Gittins. There's Watson. Betts leaving it to Wilkins.
Well, what a let-off, and Paul Gibbs had to time this to perfection. It's a lovely move. Gregory has a look at the keeper. Takes just about a picky spot. Ooh, there's contact. But maybe the first one wasn't a penalty. Maybe that's where Torquay get a little bit of luck. Let's see if there's any contact with the ball. There's not. And this could easily have been a penalty kick. Just delaying it, David Gregory. There's the challenge. Well, Gibbs got back. You give him the benefit of the doubt. Another talking point.
Gurney. McFarlane. McCall. This is Ledbetter.
And Colchester just quite happy to get behind the ball here, and as Torquay bomb forward with the wing backs, hit them on the counter.
Two-thirds of the way through normal time.
A good challenger from Paul Gibbs. He's getting forward more and more. But that was a gamble, that lunge. Really was on Gregory. I think Gregory felt, where did he come from? Just about to pick his spot. The gamble paid off.
Headed by Forbes. At that time, McFarlane was caught in the sandwich.
Yeah, he's doing well, Forbes. That mazy run earlier, now getting back, helping out to defend. But defend Colchester must do, as Torquay bomb forward in numbers.
Clayton then over the free kick. 5 men in a line in the area for Torquay. And Watson it was who pulled away, cleared by Sale.
It's a lovely flick from Watson, just needed one of his teammates behind him.
Back in from Gurney towards Gittins. Clayton was arriving, good challenge from Gregory. Gibbs hits it. And this is done.
Ref was about to give a free kick there, Rob, and allowed advantage as it fell to a Torquay player. I think Torquay would rather the free kick in a central position.
Instead, they have to try and work their way through again with Clayton.
I think Colchester still having a half-time cup of tea, Rob.
Here's McFarlane. And it might fall to Gibbs. A chance for a moment of glory from Gibbs, denied though by Emerson.
Well, the referee points away. Was it the goalkeeper gets a touch? If it was a nice save. When this falls to Gibbs, look at the time he's got to whack this. And that's a fingertip touch over the crossbar from Carl Emerson. Gibbs a chance to put his side level. All alone out there, bang, goes for power. And a good touch. Kevin Hodges can't believe it.
Thought then that his side were back in it, but Gibbs, who's won the corner, will now take it. This is a very good spell of pressure for Torquay. Cleared yet again by Green. Back in from Gibbs. Gittins underneath it.
Well, certainly, as I said a few moments ago, Rob, Colchester still having their cup of tea at half-time. Haven't woken up here in this second half. And really, Torquay now saying, come on, we can get back in this match. Gittins shakes his head there, header just over the bar. Will he get his side level after that penalty incident first half?
The controversial penalty when Gittins was adjudged to have handled it.
I think Clayton's in a bit of trouble here. I think it was an elbow. Referee saying, come here. Just had a little chat with him. Clayton was actually holding his head, so obviously it's Sale that's in trouble.
Yeah, looks like a booking for Mark Sale.
Yeah, Gary Clayton was certainly holding the back of his head, so there's no doubt there's contact here. Look at Sale go up. A little bit unlucky. He's trying to just fend them off, isn't he? He's such a tall lad. The elbow certainly catches Clayton in the back of the head.
Gurney. There's Clayton. Robinson. Gittins. McFarlane.
That's a late challenge. That's a late challenge. No doubt about it. And Gittins in there trying to help out. Gittins is actually playing alongside McFarlane now up front, but I think that's a late challenge on Carl Emerson. That's why the Colchester players are disgusted.
Ledbetter, the player at the eye of the storm.
I think this fella, I think Gittins tries to find the big fella. It's a lovely reverse pass. I don't know who that one's for, but watch this. It's a wee bit late. Okay, looked worse, I think, first time. But Gittins had made the run, as had Ledbetter. Good goalkeeping. Colchester players furious.
Referee Mick Fletcher was quick to pull Chris Ledbetter out of the crowd. And it looks like becoming the fourth caution that Torquay have collected so far.
I think it looked a bit worse, Rob, first time. You know, when we see the replay, okay, there was a collision, but he went over the goalkeeper. And 20 minutes gone. Colchester not performing too well second half, but still they hold this 1-0 lead. 7 bookings. It's getting a little bit nasty out there.
And the bookings, one area where Torquay are ahead. Up goes Sale. There's Wilkins. Pressure from Clayton. Betts. Watson climbs with Mark Sale. That was Neil Gregory. Support from Dunn. Knocked on by Sale to Forbes. And a look for Sale, and Gregg's handling there had to be certain.
I think what Colchester are good, Rob, is when they get a break on, they do get support around the ball quickly. There's 3 and 4 players. Suddenly get up alongside the player in possession of the ball. They pick the moments when to go up in numbers, and at the moment they're picking them very well.
McCall. Colchester throw in. Helped on by Sale, that's Gittins. Betts. Here's Neil Gregory. McCall. It was left to Green. That was the wise decision from Dunn. Neil Gregory out wide. Sale waiting in the box. Gregory himself just feeling his calves.
Steve McCall and Andy Gurney furious with the referee there, feeling the ball was out. They're very angry, but I'm sure they'll be rather fortunate when they see what happens to this tackle from Paul Gibbs. This was a lunge, a desperate lunge. Gregory about to pick his spot, and surely from that angle, that's a penalty in anyone's book.
Well, clearly the referee didn't see it that way. He was looking around a crowd of players in front of him. Maybe didn't have the best view of the incident. Gibbs, though, might be a little lucky.
It's a referee's nightmare, though, isn't it? You know, Wembley, big important game, and you've got a couple of real dodgy decisions to make.
Let's come off Forbes.
Gibbs took a knock there from the challenge there by Forbes. There's 1 or 2 tired legs now. It's been a long season.
Here's Buckle. Done. Skelton. Cleared by Clayton. This is Chris Ledbetter. Jack to his left, McFarlane to his right. Rodney Jack still really to sparkle in this game. Can he come to life now?
And every time he's in possession, the Torquay fans are out their seats. Looks to the heavens, comes inside on the right foot, makes a good angle for himself here. But the golden rule is you hit the target. but Colchester, plenty of defenders around them, making it difficult. And Jack really, you know, in the right position in possession. Can be a threat as Colchester make the sub.
And the player who's coming on is Tony Locke, who scored against Torquay after coming on as a substitute against them in the league. And he's coming on to take the place of Neil Gregory, who on one or two occasions in the last few minutes has been feeling the back of his legs, just feeling the strain a little. But on comes Locke, a player of great promise, whose early career has been badly affected by injuries. But he scored 12 minutes after coming on against Torquay in the 1-0 win at Layer Road in January. Let's see if he can put on a repeat showing. Gurney. McFarlane. Cleared by Betts.
Well, shouts for handball there, McFarlane, I should say. He definitely felt that was the case.
And it's come to Gurney. Oh, it was diverted away by the goalkeeper.
What a save, Rob. What a save this is. It's great work again from McFarlane. Gives it into Gurney. It's quality this is. What's this save from Emerson? Through the legs and somehow gets down with the right foot. That is a great save. Through Green's legs. What a save. Save of the match.
Previously saved one, of course, from this man Gibbs, who takes the corner now. Watson gets up for it, and that's gone for the goal kick.
What a season he's had as well, Rob. Carl Emerson hasn't missed a game and getting down to make a fantastic save. Now Torquay go for a change.
Yes, Tony Beddoe is the player who's coming on, and it's the old legs of Steve McCall that are going to be rested. Of course, he does combine his playing role with that of assistant coach to Kevin Hodges, and it's that part of his role that he'll now be enacting.
Yeah, 37-year-old. He's done well tonight to last.
Beddoe, who was born not too far away, and Hammersmith comes on to take his place.
You have to feel a little bit for Torquay here, Rob. Well, I do. You know, I don't know if they deserve to be one down, especially in the second half showing. Colchester got their noses in front, defending doggedly.
Sale. Here's Clayton. For those detractors of the playoffs, then the third division final tends to be the great purveyor of natural justice, because this is the 5th year running that the two teams who just missed out on automatic promotion have contested the final, and in the previous 4 it was the team that finished highest that won. Beddoe almost going through straight away, and Emerson coming out to meet him.
Good defending from Wilkins as well. Wilkins protected his goalkeeper there, between his goalkeeper and the ball. He's just on sub. It's not too bad a touch, but look at Wilkins just holding his ground. And again, Emerson brilliant.
Tony Beddoe has scored 3 times after coming on as a substitute this season, including winners against Darlington and Doncaster.
Yeah, it's going to be a long journey home. 1-0 all the way back to Torquay. And really, do they deserve to be losing? And Colchester can say, well, they could add a second penalty.
Locke tried to feed it back to Skelton. Cleared by Ledbetter.
And he's getting through a lot of work second half.
Crossed by Dunn. This is Sale. Good strength from him. It's come off Robinson. Corner to Colchester.
He's played a tremendous part up front for Colchester. Has been a towering influence. And really Torquay at the back haven't handled him.
Approaching the final quarter of an hour, you would think at this stage that a second goal for Colchester might just be enough to seal it. Can they avoid an anxious last quarter of an hour? It's Buckle with the corner. Gittins up ahead of Mark Sale. Fed back in by Skelton. Sales touch, great opening, but he's offside. Lock.
Well, Colchester, if they can hang on, there's a long-running saga, Rob. Layer Road, we need a new ground. The council won't help. Promotion the second might just push them. This is where McFarlane shouts for the handball. They need a bit of luck. Does it hit the hand? Oof. He quickly, his arms raised, looked at the referee Fletcher, having none of it. Good referee in there, Rob. Clash of heads. I think it was his own player, to be honest.
It's David Gregory, the goal scorer, who's the player down.
Yeah, I think he clashed heads with Paul Buckle. Two of them went, and this looks a nasty one. Out Sparkle. He thinks his brother scored the penalty. Out Sparkle, but I'm pretty sure he bangs heads with Paul Buckle. Steve Whitten there looking pensive. Can we hang on, boys? Second division, here we come. Three players go for the ball here, but I'm sure it's Gregory bangs in. Boom. Yeah, nothing nasty there. Let's hope he's okay.
Well, both of them might have headaches for different reasons tomorrow, if the scoreline stays the way it is. Throw in given to Torquay.
Torquay, look. Come on, ref. Get that clock going quicker. Big party tonight, celebrations. And that man on the left, I wouldn't try and keep up with him tonight. Known to like a tipple.
Steve Whitten is a player who only ended his actual playing career. He's now the coach to Steve Whitten, but he ended his playing career in April. And after they reach Wembley, I'm sure he wishes that he'd prolonged it a little longer, but sadly injury intervened.
So what, Robbie, he's a good player as well. And he could pass a ball on the run. You know, you make a run, he'd find you.
Laid off by Locke, cleared by Clayton, only to David Gregory. Good work this from Colchester. Forbes in the box if they can find him. Taken out of the goalkeeper's hands by Robinson.
Well, Forbes made an near post run there. Good defending again from Torquay, but Gregory wriggles free. Look at Forbes on the far post. Now he makes his run near post. Then he holds, he checks. But Torquay had plenty numbers back there. A bit of wrestling going on. Sale at the near post, can't move.
Cross corner going in towards Forbes. Dunn. Played in towards Sale.
Well, the big fella hasn't missed a lot all throughout this match. And what a golden opportunity to win it. It's a beautiful ball. Is there a touch of offside? Linesman keeps his flag down, and that could have been all over.
And now Torquay break with Gurney. And he's lifted it over the top. That could have been a very prompt response from Torquay. They had men flooding forward.
Yeah, just finds himself in a lot of room again. Not getting closed down, and once again leans back. Doesn't hit the target. And they've had plenty of chances, haven't they? In terms of half chances, strikes on goal, 12 against 5. 3 both on target. Colchester have the breakthrough.
Can Torquay find yet another revival? Well, there's a challenge by Gary Clayton that's going to lead to another card. They've picked up so many they've been losing count.
He's a tricky player, this Forbes. He moves it from foot to foot. It is late on the ankle. Clayton with his left foot catching him. And that's another yellow, Rob.
Fifth name from Torquay that Mick Fletcher's taken.
I bet Mick's right arm's pretty sore tonight. He'll feel that tomorrow. He's been in and out that pocket all night.
His autobiography is going to be as long as that. Buckles free kick. David Gregory going for the spectacular, now Skelton does.
A little half chance on his right foot.
There's a goal against Shrewsbury that Skelton scored that topped the supporters poll as Colchester's goal of the year, but Emerson denied Torquay what seemed almost certain goals.
Yeah, but what about this fella, Rob? Just a little touch of the finger there, just to divert it over, but what a save this is, through the legs, and that is quality.
Gibbs trying to test Emerson again, and you're right, he's been an ever-present this season as Carl Emerson, making this his 56th game of the season in all. £25,000 purchase from Millwall, and in a team that cost less than £150,000 to assemble.
Can he keep that goal intact? If he can, Colchester Division 2, here we come.
Ball put out by Watson.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of partying tonight in Essex Town. Only 20 minutes from my house, Rob, 20 miles away.
You'll be stopping off then on the way back?
I've got a big game tomorrow.
Forbes. Clayton. Wilkins. Here's Rodney Jack.
I think he's going to be frustrated and disappointed tonight, Rod Jack. What perfect place to show off your talent, Wembley Stadium. Beautiful pitch. It hasn't happened so far tonight.
And Colchester about to make a change, and what a moment this is for Carl Duguid, who's coming on, having missed the vital penalty in the auto windscreen shield that eventually cost them that match against Carlisle. He's coming on to take the place of Aaron Skelton, but he quickly got that penalty miss out of his system, Duguid. And this is the chance to prove it once and for all.
Don't mention penalty misses, Rob, because if Torquay are getting an equaliser, extra time, he might be taking another.
Perhaps he'll do a Stuart Pearce and banish the memory of one miss by taking another and scoring. But Colchester's 2 FA Cup ties this season both went to penalties. They won one and lost another, so they're well used to them. However, that's a scenario they want to avoid, and with just over 7 minutes to go, they're well on their way to avoiding them. Gurney, though, to try and apply more pressure. In towards McFarlane, came off the head of Betts.
Well, I have to say, Rob, look, the two guests in the studio, I fancy Colchester to win and wanted them to win, being local, but I feel for Torquay.
And another change being made, this time by Torquay, and it's Wayne Thomas, who celebrated his 19th birthday last week, who's coming on. Actually made his full debut in a 3-1 defeat at Colchester just over 2 years ago. He's come up through the ranks.
I'll tell you what, Rob, I find this a strange one. I think this big fella's battled well for Torquay up front. I really find that a strange decision.
He has been troubled this season a little bit by an Achilles problem, McFarlane, which has led to him quite regularly being replaced late in matches. So clearly Kevin Hodges feels that a change at this time might just give Torquay the impetus they need.
I'll take your word for that, Rob. I think he was their best chance of scoring one.
Gibbs cleared for the throw. England, of course, will be gracing this pitch tomorrow in their last home match in preparation for the World Cup against Saudi Arabia. It's live on Sky from 2 o'clock. It's on Sky Sports 2.
Yeah, gracing the pitch, and what a beautiful surface.
It will also play host to Grimsby and Northampton and Charlton Sunderland in the remaining playoffs, which you'll see live on Sky. This is Sale.
Three big crowds coming up. They tell me they're expecting just over 60,000 tomorrow. I would imagine Grimsby Northampton will have 70, and Sunderland Charlton sell out.
Colchester and Torquay have been talking about asking the FA for compensation for the fact that this game was moved to a Friday, affecting their crowd.
There's a bit of a problem here, Rob. I think Gibbs is in big trouble. I really do. Sale and Gibbs. I think Sale was a little bit late on Gibbs, but have a look at this. When you've been booked, watch Gibbs here. No need for this. Come on, boys. And Sale goes down. Well done, referee. I thought one was taking a walk there. Sale, he's not happy, is he?
Well, he did shake hands with Gibbs, maybe a little reluctantly. It's Buckle's free kick. Back goes Sale.
Time running out for Torquay. Sale, well, he deserves a couple of pints tonight.
Well, there were late goals to win the playoff matches in 2 of the 3 finals last year for Northampton and for Crystal Palace. Is there to be a late equaliser in this game for Torquay?
Well, Jacks has gone right through the middle now, Rob. None of this outside right or outside left. Through the middle all alone.
Meadow was looking for Jack there, but it's cleared by Wilkins.
Is it a steady game as well, hasn't it, the skipper?
And they're relying on all of their defenders now to stay steady. Betts did his best to save the ball from going for the corner. The referee has awarded a free kick anyway for a touch of the hand. And here's a big chance for Torquay if Gibbs can deliver from this.
Yeah, he needs movement. This will go in with pace, Rob. He needs movement.
There are plenty involved in the shake-up in the box. A lot of pushing and shoving going on. Gurney! Blocked by his own man.
Yeah, it was his other. I think it was his other. No, it was Robin. I think it was Robinson, Rob. But really, it was a poor delivery there from Paul Gibbs, who can play the ball in with pace.
Delivers this time with the throw. Cleared by Sale from behind Alex Watson. And a moment of relief for the Colchester fans. Well, it's fingers crossed at the moment for the visitors from Essex. Torquay were actually staying quite near Colchester as part of their build-up to this match. Here's Gurney. Here's Jack. And it took a deflection off Wilkins. Who's going to be your man of the match then, Alan?
Well, I think the fella up front, Mark Sale's an excellent game, but the man with the safe hands who just collected the ball there, Carl Emerson, for that fantastic save, must get my man of the match. Two smashing saves, but the second one, if it stays 1-0, they'll look to this man, because that was top drawer.
Well, twice in the last 2 seasons, Colchester have ended the campaign disappointed. They missed out in the playoff semi-finals 2 years ago, didn't even reach the playoffs last year, but this year they've made it through to the final. They had a great late surge in the league campaign, and it looks as though they've carried it all the way to Wembley.
Yeah, one of our bubbly presenters, Helen Chamberlain, all decked out in her Torquay gear earlier, was very hopeful, helping with the pre-match entertainment. Helen's going to be gutted.
Yes, 1 or 2 Torquay fans could be in for quite a miserable summer at this rate. Unless there is a late twist in the tail here at Wembley. Locke battling hard to try and keep it in, but failing to do so. Clayton. Bedo. Forbes trying to break up their flow.
Colchester all behind the ball now. Flooding back in the number, saying to the ref, how long, ref?
All eyes on the fourth official, and Clive Wilkes has indicated that 3 minutes of stoppage time remains. That's official. And Thomas here looks to turn it across. Gibbs is in the box, and he couldn't bring the header down.
Glorious chance from Paul Gibbs, ex-Colchester player. Fans can't believe it. Jumped a little bit early, all alone. Just mistimes the jump, I think. Goes up early, tries to head the ball on the way down, and can't keep it down. Beautiful ball, right to the far post, and Paul Gibbs rises, but can't find the target.
He's antagonised Colchester on 1 or 2 occasions with his challenges, and he almost aggravated them further.
He's a good, strong player, Rob. He's been pushed back first half, but the pace of forwards, but second half, more adventurous. But that will haunt him.
Nerve-wracking moments these for Colchester. Anywhere will do for the closing 2 minutes. Can Greg launch another attack for Torquay? Here's Locke. Runs into Bedo. Colchester throw. Tony Adcock.
Yeah, what a good goal scorer he's been for Colchester. Scores goals for fun, that boy. I thought he could have played higher.
Played for Colchester in a couple of spells, ruled out by injury at the moment.
Tremendous goal record. Anywhere he's gone, he's scored goals.
Well, the flags and banners of the Colchester fans are waving. They realise now that they're just over a minute away from appearing in the second division next season.
I'll tell you what, Steve Wignall's done a tremendous job as well at Colchester. Taking over the reins from George Burley, he's got to be a very proud man.
Wringing his hands with attention though at the moment as Torquay look for one late rallying surge. But it's been a really frustrating night for Rodney Jack.
He's given his all, Rob, and there's no doubt it's a big show, big occasion tonight, and it just hasn't gone his way.
St Vincent International, he's played on the big stage of the Azteca Stadium in a tournament in Mexico, and he was up against the likes of Batistuta for Argentina. But he was desperate to prove himself on this Wembley stage. Is there still time for it? Thomas heading the ball back.
I'm afraid he's going to be playing against Halifax next season. No disrespect to Halifax.
Colchester now moments away from promotion. Agonising last few seconds, but that'll do for them as it's cleared by Buckle. Setting Locke free, Watson up, trying to hold him up. And failing to do so, there's been a good break in the box from Carl Duguid, and he's looked to pick him out.
Yeah, it was a left-footed volley, but Carl decides to try and direct it with his right. But that'll do Colchester up the other end, and surely only a matter of seconds left.
Gibbs, another check on the watch, and Colchester are there. Steve Wignall's side have earned promotion to the second division, and they can justifiably celebrate. Carl Emerson, who made some important saves during the game, is surrounded by his colleagues. They know how crucial his contribution's been. But the goal that won it was scored by David Gregory. Controversial the award may be, but Carl Duguid there recognising just how cool he was when he needed to be. Distress for Torquay, they went so close. A point from automatic promotion. They finished just 4 goals behind Colchester in the league table, and they've missed out on English football's biggest stage. But now they can plot their trips to the likes of Manchester City and Stoke and Burnley and Fulham next season. They can look forward to a season at a higher level. For now, the celebrations can begin, and it's over a long summer that the planning will begin in earnest.
Yeah, look at that. Fantastic scenes one end, and Gurnley there absolutely gutted. I think they played their part, but this fella, one save in particular for me was fantastic, and that broke the hearts of Torquay fans. And there's a proud man, Steve Wignall, quiet man, good centre-half in his time. There's going to be a special party at a certain hotel in Park Lane, London tonight.
Well, Steve Wignall was actually playing for Colchester when they last appeared in what is now the second division, but that was some 17 years ago. And now, as manager, he's going around recognising the contribution of his players, even those who haven't taken part, like Paul Abrahams, coming out to congratulate their colleagues. Paul Gibbs, who so wanted to do it against his old club. Kevin Hodges there consoling him.
Yeah, give his all, the boy. Give his all.
And good to see him giving his congratulations to his former teammates, David Gregory, the goal scorer. And the man, of course, who he tackled in what could have led to a second penalty.
Yeah, he's got it, isn't he? It's a horrible feeling.
But the beaming smiles belong to the team from Layer Road, who will take the walk up the steps to receive from John Sutherland, Nationwide's representative, what is really a token of their day. The most important thing for them is the fact that they will be appearing in the second division next season. But Richard Wilkins, who's leading him up there, is the one player in the team who remembers the bad old days when they were relegated to the GM Vauxhall Conference.
I'm delighted for them, Rob. I used to go there Friday nights, Layer Road, when I was breaking into the Ipswich side, and enjoyed it. And boy, that's going to be a busy ground next season.
He remembers the disappointment of the 4-0 defeat by Cambridge that relegated them. Went on later to play for Cambridge, but now back at Colchester. And Richard Wilkins shows that their rehabilitation is complete. And Wembley is a scene of great joy as the Layer Road faithful take over. And Steve Wignall, who suffered the disappointment of watching his side defeated in a penalty shootout in the Auto Windscreen Shield final last year, experiences the more positive side of Wembley on this occasion. And it's a colourful sight for the winners. Colchester then complete the lineup made up of Notts County and Macclesfield and Lincoln. They were the team who finished just below the automatic promotion slots, and for the 5th year running in this division, it's that team who've made it.
Yeah, there's going to be joyous scenes down the A12 back to Essex tonight. Not a long journey, but crikey, I hope they're staying the night, because that is a hell of a journey tonight, isn't it, after losing.
Well, they've come such a long way of the Torquay players, not only in terms of distance, but also the way that they have those 8 club record wins that really rescued their season. But it's Colchester who've emerged intact and victorious.
Yeah, Torquay played their part, Rob. And Joe, I must admit, I really enjoyed it.
It's going to be quite a bank holiday at Layer Road, not so in the southwest. But let's hear from the Colchester captain, Richard Wilkins. He's with Alan Bentley.
Richard, what does this victory mean to you and the rest of the side?
Superb. To come to Wembley and win it is unbelievable. Torquay, fair play to them. They give us a great game, but these crowds love it, don't they?
And for someone like yourself who's experienced the bad times with Colchester, it must be especially sweet.
This is, but it's like that for quite a few players, really, in our little setup here. But I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, to have it a Friday night, there was a lot of disappointed people that couldn't come because it was a Friday night, but they've still turned out in numbers, and we've rewarded them with a win. Superb for the town.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, but I did enjoy the final whistle, I must admit.
Well done, Richard. Thanks a lot.
He's 33. Next Thursday is Richard Wilkins, and that's going to be quite a party. It's going to be a week of partying, quite a bank holiday they're going to enjoy. If you're going to win anywhere, this is the place to win. And let's hear from the man of the match and the goalkeeping hero, Carl Emerson. Back to Alan.
Carl, what a way to celebrate a season in which you've been an ever-present.
Oh, what a way to finish it, eh? I mean, the boys have done tremendous today. We kept going. We knew it would be a tough game. We played Torquay twice this year, and it's been close every time. The end result was just the right one for us, so we're just very pleased.
2 crucial saves. I mean, did you touch the first one?
The First shot, yes. Yeah. Got a good hand to it.
The second one, I mean, Alan Batil said it was the save of the match.
Yeah, well, it was nice and low for them, you know, that's where you want to strike a ball against the goalkeeper, and luckily I just managed to get a touch on it.
What's the plan tonight?
Big party.
And this time the scoreboard says it all.